Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to MindShifters Radio with your co-host, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie. Michael and Jeanie share with you the wisdom of the ancient Aramaic internal process of forgiveness. They offer tools and support 5 days a week from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will support you in building a solid foundation within yourself to live in pure love. In Aramaic, Rakhma. Michael is the author of Why Is This Happening to Me Again? For more information on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. And now your co-hosts, the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael and Jeanie Ryce.
And the truth that is rooted within me.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to MindShifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce. Our apologies, we're a little late, technicalities here. Today is Memorial Day 136 days we've been celebrating, honoring those who have been in service. And Michael will talk a little more about that here in a few moments. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169. Press 1 to let us know that you want to talk, and I'll put you in queue. And then also just to remind everybody that starting next Monday, we're going to shift our time back 1 hour. So instead of being 2 o'clock Eastern Time, it's going to be 1 o'clock Eastern Time, which is going to be noon Central Time where we are. And so we're going to shift all of that back 1 hour. So that'll start next Monday, the 17th. And then also to remind you that we are now, besides being able to listen to us on Blog Talk Radio, that we are partnered with another radio network, internet radio network, that's called Impact Player Music Nation Radio Network. And so you can also go to our website and you can click on and listen through their link as well. So it's expanding, and we're also going to be replaying some of our favorite shows on Saturdays and Sundays. So we're actually going to be on for 7 days a week now. So that's exciting. It just keeps growing and growing. So I'm Michael.
Well, hey, Jeanie. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. This rainy day here in Missouri. That feels like fall is in the air.
And we are just driving down the road, Highway 160, and we're late because I got into this interesting conversation with the young man I was with, and got caught up in the conversation and missed the 1 o'clock time. So it's my bad. My apology. And we're delighted to be here with you to talk about the ancient Aramaic tools of healing, in particular the tool of forgiveness. The tool that is used by those who are aware that it's possible to change the content of their minds, their physiology, their body's chemistry, their emotions, and start to step into conscious creatorship. So that's our conversation. That's what we're here to do, and we're delighted to be sharing that time and space with each of you. And Jeanie mentioned the Memorial Day, honoring those who have been through some of the hell of the war. And how are we going to do that? Well, our invitation to you is that you be willing to look at one issue today where you have some form of hostility or fear, and that you be willing to forgive that hostility or fear. Now, most people say, oh, you mean I forgive the person that made me mad? Oh, I forgive myself for being mad? No, please don't forgive that person. Stop forgiving people. Please don't forgive yourself. Stop forgiving yourself. You want to pardon somebody or pardon yourself, let yourself off the hook. That's a very kind and nice thing to do, but it's got nothing to do with forgiveness. Forgiveness is the tool with which you go inside yourself and remove what never belongs. So you would forgive the hostility or fear in your mind if you find yourself in some form of hostility or fear. And our thesis and our offering is that when we get enough people who are willing to be that responsible, that they're willing to change the root of the output of their mind, and remove the capacity, very capacity, for hostility or fear, then we're going to see the dissolution of war from planet Earth. And so that's part of what we're here to do, part of what our body of work is. We've been doing for the last 40 years all around the globe. We're in Theodosia for the next 2 weeks, and then we're heading to Greensboro, North Carolina. So anybody that's out in the Greensboro area, we'll be doing a full week of workshops there, starting on the, the 20... Do you have the date in front of you? The 21st? No, 23rd? Anyway.
Yeah, we start there on Sunday, the 23rd, and
23rd.
go Sunday, Monday, all the way through Friday, and then Saturday, MindShifters and Still Point Breathing. And then we leave right after the MindShifters and head to Miami.
Come and play, yes. So Sunday we'll do Why Is This Happening to Me Again? From I believe it'll be 1 or perhaps 2 o'clock. We're not sure yet, both confirming time, till 4:30 or 5:30, whatever the case may be. And then Monday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, we'll be doing a series of free workshops. We do have one workshop that we charge a fee for when we travel. That's MindShifters and Still Point Breathing, and we'll be doing that on Saturday, starting at 8 in the morning. So, Jeanie, do we have Dr. Tim with us today, and or is David with us?
Hello.
They are both with us, and they're both turned on.
Awesome. Well, good morning, gentlemen. Dr. Tim, David, how do you both be?
Doing well. Doing beautifully, thank you. Hello,
awesome.
David.
Hello, Tim. Nice to hear that you're going to be doing a Why Again workshop there at Unity. I read that and I just got so pumped up. How great. I wish I could be there for that.
Yeah, I've been blessed to do a number of talks at Unity, and they've all been focused on this type of work. And now, instead of just doing the sermon, they've asked me to do the sermon and then do a 3-hour workshop later in the afternoon. So we'll have something to talk about next week and how that went. And I'm looking forward to it. It's taking its form and it's bubbling around in my head as to which pieces of this puzzle we'll try and squeeze into a 2.5-hour presentation, but it'll be interesting to see what comes up with the interaction with the crowd. And
is that this Sunday, Tim?
Yeah, this coming Sunday, the 16th.
Awesome. And do we have it on the website yet? Do we have the flyer up?
I don't
Can you
know.
send us the flyer? Oh, well, let's make sure that we get a flyer and get it on the website so that anybody that taps in will know that at Unity of Crystal Lake you will be presenting on Sundays. That's awesome.
Yeah, I sent it out to the people on my blog, and I've been letting the people in the Tuesday night group know it for several weeks. So
cool. You might want to let the folks down in Naperville know as well, so they can send the conventions out. That's awesome.
All right, I'll send out an email to Joe. Haven't heard from her in a few weeks, so I wonder how things are going with her. So this will be a good chance to reach out to her.
Cool. Fabulous. David, you shared with me this morning that you were doing some writing. Do you have anything to share?
Actually, let's see. I was there have just been several things that were coming through for me with even the word forgiveness, and looking it up and checking out what it is that is referred to of how it's described and how people are using it. And I think it was more about me getting a release from a lot of the process of letting go of a lot of goals that I'm seeing that I had around and still have with my son Ryan. And I completed watching that movie, A Rumor of Angels, and I thought it was I went to sleep early last night because my body just actually ready to give in, from everything, from all of it. So I gave myself some time to. I was in bed before 9 o'clock last night. It's been like forever. I was awake at 5.
For you.
Yeah, I was awake at around 5:15, 5:30 this morning, and during my breathing and just looking at things and listening to, I took a message from the movie last night that and I'm looking for it exactly. I want to be clear with this. But she was talking about what grief is, and I liked the way that she used that. It's kind of where it's got to be here soon. Grief is remorse for things left undone. And I put there, so it's uncompleted goals set in the mind. And that's what I was wrapping things around this morning, that there's so many goals with my son, and I see how that would play and resonate a lot of different things around about the goals that I had, whether they were conscious or unconscious. And so I was piecing in the whole idea of forgiveness and taking away from the way that I was programmed with guilt, fault, and blame, and for me to notice and recognize that they were just because of some things that were undone, that they just weren't there, and that they aren't possible to have now. And there in my mind was the sadness and the grief, and the sadness, lots of sadness. And she kind of talked about that as well too. We talk about that anytime that anything resonates, fear or hostility, part of it is also a sadness. When I really tap into my true essence of who it is that I am and who my son is, and looking at this as an energetic world and resonating what it is that is really going on. It's just challenged every belief that I've had about life and death, transformation, heaven, hell. So all of those things, all the files are just opening up. And for me to be able to get clear this morning, a little clearer this morning about how to take an event or take a trigger and to stay with that and doing some worksheets, doing some mind shifters and doing some breathing, then I'm able to process through a lot of it. I'm just still so amazed of how do people live their life without the tools. It's just so amazing. And I get it that there are more and more people that are using tools, and that people are certainly looking, and I'm glad that I've been able to connect with your work, and you, Michael, and Tim, and all of the Heartland people, and just the people that have even attended a workshop, no matter what, no matter where. To hear that Tim's getting ready to put on this Why Again workshop, and the first thought that I had around that, Tim, was that you were at my first one there in Chicago, and I'd love to be there with yours and support you. And just know that I am in my thoughts, and as I said, I hope you video it or get it videoed, no matter what that it is, simplest of cameras or whatever, get it on video. I think that you'll be able to reflect back on that. It'd be really cool. So that's what's going on with me this morning.
Well, no wonder you were ready for bed at 9 o'clock last night, David. You have been processing so much the last couple of weeks. It's just it's awesome that you're willing to open all those things. And it's interesting how, in the ancient Aramaic, the word Satan means the resistor, one who misleads. And how many people are in such resistance that they will not open what is in those files hidden away in their minds. And they have no idea the impact that those unconscious dynamics have. And interestingly enough, in the Aramaic language, they had a word that described behavior and perception being controlled from an unconscious level. And wherever we have unconscious data, in the ancient teachings, they said, take care of the heart or the unconscious, for out of it are the issues in life. And that's the controlling mechanism in the human mind. And those who are not willing to open a file in their mind are run by its aberrant content. If there's hostility or fear in it, and they're run by hostility and fear, and they wonder why. And we should speak about the number of files that have been opening around all those issues. And the person who lives trapped in the Aramaic idea of Satan, the resistor, one who misleads, resists looking there, and every time that file is resonated, their lives are run by it. They're misled. And they don't realize the impact of that, and they just say, well, I just don't want to look there. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to look there. I already believe this. I'm not going to change my mind. I've already, I've been beaten into submission on that one. I'm not looking there. And they say they want to live a conscious life. They want to live a life that's true to the true teachings. But you can't live a conscious life true to the true teachings if there's one unconscious idea in you that you refuse to come into a relationship with and interview from the perspective of truth. Until you are able to interview everything in your mind from the perspective of truth, non-truth will run your life. And how do you tell if non-truth is running your life? Is there some form of hostility or fear? And the unconsciousness of being run that way, and the person who lives in blockage of truth, they can't see the truth when it's sitting right there in front of them. I recently worked with a young man who was doing quite a few worksheets, and many of his worksheets were around these people who, if only my sister had supported me, if only my dad had supported me, if only my mom had told me this, if only this person had told me that, if only that person had told me this. And they really believe that they wanted that input, and they're upset, they think, because they didn't get that input. And yet, at the same time, when they're in a space to get support and assistance to make shifts and changes, this young man is about one of the most resistant and ego-centered young men I've ever seen. Not accepting anything. No, this is all crap. I don't need to be involved in this. This is crazy. What I do, and not for a moment conceiving of the dichotomy of, all these worksheets I did and all these people who wouldn't direct me properly, and now I get a chance for some really high-level good direction, and I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not touching it. Not a clue how arrogant that is and how that keeps one locked in the cycles of unconscious behavior. So, David, I applaud you and acknowledge you for all the willingness you've had to face some of the most trying moments and the most trying realities in what you've been through, not just the last 2 weeks, but the last 2 years. So we're certainly here to hold the space and honor you in your process.
Well, thank you, Michael. And, there's a question that came to me. It's been on my mind over the last several weeks. And you might invite this person and or anyone, I invite the audience to take a look at that, because there is so much in our society and in my program. It's not just in the society. I heard it too, that, surely it couldn't be me. I would never have chosen this. I would never have done this. It has to be because someone did it to me, or someone taught me, or someone did this. And the question that I ask and invite people to ask themselves, so if they had told you this, how would your life be different now? And see if the truth really comes out. You know, most people, when I ask they say, well, I don't know, but it'd be better than what it is now. So how would it be different? What would really be different? You know, I want to ask some folks, and because I asked the same thing. So how would my life have been different had I not gone to Vietnam? How would my life have been different had I not gotten divorced? How would my family have been if we had stayed together? Based on the information and what it is that I have, then my projection of it is that it'd be a hell of a lot worse. It would be crazy because I'm watching and seeing the insanity that's going on and knowing that, wow, what would it be like? So I'm putting that to, you know, as I work with people and doing this work, Michael, as you know, I've asked a few people because they've said, well, my parents hadn't done this or so-and-so hadn't done this. I said, yeah. So had they given you the right answer, the answer that you want, how would your life be different? And it's kind of slowed things down. It gives them another opportunity to look at it in another way.
Yeah. Well, you know, David, they have the saying that hindsight is 20/20, and that's an absolute fraud. Hindsight is no more 20/20 than present sight or future sight is 20/20. We're still looking through the same filter, and we're still looking through the same justification. The mind says, you know, I did what was right because look how it would have turned out, but the truth is that's all still just a projection, and you know, that game that trying to assess from the past is a tough one to play because we still have the same hostility and fear filters around issues that we haven't addressed and dealt with as yet. And so, you know, the work of getting more conscious becomes such an urgent thing in order to really move into a true human life. So I'm glad to be sharing the planet with you, David, and glad to be on the path with you. Delighted to be on your support team and delighted to have you on mine. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dr. Tim, you had a support group last night. Did you have any exciting things happen in the support group last night?
Well, it's impossible really to have a support group meeting with 9 people and not have something exciting go on. It happens every week. Last night, the discussion was lively. People were once again trying to make sense of how they might have to do forgiveness work around the good events in their past. And I think we got, you know, the third time we went at that topic, I think people started to understand that any time I think somebody else caused my feelings, good or bad, I've created a lie and I've created a codependent relationship. Yeah. And if I keep chasing after things from the past that are good because I want to relive them, it keeps me from living in this moment. So that was one good thing that came from it. The other good thing was we had a very powerful testimonial about the work somebody did last week and how she had the best several nights sleep she's had in quite a while after processing the second round of a worksheet from the previous week, and how she's gained a whole new perspective on her family dynamic and her role in it. This usually prompts other people, and it did again last night, to just give testimonials about the benefit of the work and having the support group there to help them process through their worksheets and actually take a look at their role in the relationships in their life that aren't producing loving, satisfying, responses for them. So it was a powerful group. It was a good group, and we wrapped up the Why Is This Happening to Me Again lecture, and next week we'll move on to another.
Awesome. Well, it'll probably be fun to have your support group there supporting you with the Why workshop that you're doing, and that'll probably open a whole other level of insight and process for people that they're receiving that from you personally. That should definitely open some files and move some energy. So it'll be exciting to hear next Monday's report on what unfolds and what happens.
Well, I will definitely be on the show. I'm not, with this change of time, I should check my schedule before Yes, on Monday I have it blocked out so I can actually be here at noon. There are a number of days coming up in the future 2 weeks where I already have things booked in at noon, so I'm going to have to reschedule them. But
it's actually 1 o'clock. The show will. Pardon me.
It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, we're doing 1 till 2 now, so it'll be noon to 1 o'clock, right? Yeah.
So in the central time frame, I'm going to have to make my noon to 1 time slot open, but I will do that for Monday and look forward to giving you a report about how the seminar progressed and what people's reactions were.
Fabulous. Are you planning on recording it?
Yeah, I have a plan to do the audio recording. David's idea to get a video recording sparks me, so maybe I can work on that in the next few days to see if somebody can record it with my zip camera. But the audio recording ought to be a snap because I have a digital recorder and a lapel mic. So. Right.
Well, there'll probably be somebody there that in the support group or what have you that has the camera and would be happy to record it. So that'll be fun. I'd love to see it, and it'll be awesome to just see how the assembly of the information comes together.
Well, I'll share whatever we have after it's done, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fabulous. Jeanie, do we have any callers or anything happening on in the chat room that we need to be aware of?
We have a lot of people in the chat room and on the switchboard both. Nobody's asking any questions, though. Our call-in number is 646-200-4169, and then press 1, and that lets me know that you want to talk to Michael, and I can turn you on so you can have a conversation. Questions or comments are most welcome. Remember that starting next Monday, our time is going to move back an hour. It's going to be, instead of 2 o'clock Eastern Time, it's going to be 1 o'clock Eastern Time. So for us, it's going to be noon Central Time. So
cool.
We're shifting everything back.
Does that mean if I press 1, you'll turn me on? I mean, that's cool. I like that.
You're already on.
Fabulous. So our calling number, we'd love to hear from somebody. Certainly some of this has sparked some question in your mind, some aspect of the work that you have a question about. And the number is 646-200-4169. If you get in the show, of course you can listen to the show, and then if you just push 1, that will let Jeanie know that you want to chat, and we would love to hear from you. It's always exciting and real-life stuff when we get callers who have a real-life question or something that doesn't make sense about any of the tools or the work. We would love to help clarify, and of course, one of the things I always offer people is that one of the benefits I get from being global in what we do and the people that we interact with from all over the planet is that people think that the answers are what's important. But, having the brain cells to ask the question is far more important than the answer. Now imagine going into a kindergarten classroom and putting the most fabulous piece of calculus on the board, and there's the answer. for the kindergarten class. No brain cells, it would mean nothing to them that you've done this most awesome problem on the board because they haven't the brain cells to even ask the question. And so,
Michael,
when,
we have 2 people with their hand up.
Oh, cool. Okay, well, let me just finish the thought then, and we'll go right to the calls. So, when you build the brain cells and you're able to ask the question, that if we can still our minds brings forward the answer automatically from a power that is greater than ourselves that is within us. And I forget who it was. I think it was Emerson that said that all you have to do is get your bloated nothingness out of the way, the belief that you know it all. I was reading an article recently on Socrates, and they crowned Socrates. They told Socrates that he was the wisest man in the world, and Socrates was resistant to that idea, and then finally he realized that he was the wisest man in the world, and the thing that had him understand he was the wisest man in the world was he understood that he knew nothing. And that opened him to be taught by the universe. So we're here to be taught by the universe, and one of the awesome things that happens when you forgive is you collapse this mind that thinks it knows it all, and you then know nothing, and you have the opportunity to be taught. So let's listen to a caller.
Okay. One of them has hung up, but we have area code 541. You're on the air. Who do we have? Area code 541.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
Much well.
Good.
So,
do I hear Miss Julie's voice there?
Yeah, Julie Matthews here.
Oh, I was thinking yesterday we haven't heard from you in a while, so I'm glad to hear your voice.
Well, the while has been I've been just dissolving lifetimes, I guess. I have been busy for about a month moving, and I got myself moved.
Congratulations. That's a big task.
Yeah, and then so where I moved to is the house that I'm trying to sell, or, intending to sell, and so it came up to be sold now. Somebody is buying it, and I was feeling like, oh no, it's going to be sold, because I had all these alternative plans of, well, if it doesn't sell, I'll do this and that and this and that. And I'm noticing that there's just this dichotomy world of, if I want to sell it, it's the opposite of not wanting to sell it. And it doesn't matter either way. What I'm noticing is that I'm creative. I will make lemonade no matter what, I hope I'm not. So it's really been kind of fun and exciting as I sorted through all of the stuff in my home and put most of it into pretty full storage units, and I gave away about another full storage unit of stuff, and I've just learned a whole lot about what giving is and how good it feels without worrying about what it costs, and knowing that I can recreate anything, and even I have choice as to what I recreate. Maybe I don't want to recreate. Maybe I want to freshly create, So that's what's been going on and why you haven't heard from me.
Well, I appreciate that when we were out there. Of course, I appreciate the way you supported us, but I have been enjoying that night coat that you gave me. So thank you for giving that away. It's been quite comfortable and quite enjoyable to wear. So how is the support group going?
What was
you
it?
gave me a house coat.
Oh, right. I wondered about that.
Blue.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah. So
you're welcome.
You're now in California, right? So have you gotten the support group started in California yet? Or what's happening in that regard?
Yeah, that was my plan, and it still is, even though I'm in escrow now. I have a contract, so I'll be here about a month, but I'm still going to invite people and, and have an evening of, I think, showing your Why Is This Happening to Me Again DVD, and take it from there. And it may be that I'm just sort of traveling for a while to different communities teaching what I think is the most important thing in the world to teach, which is what you've brought to us. And I was also listening to Dr. Tim. I've kind of tapped in for the last couple of days, and I hear that he's doing his first presentation of teaching why is this happening to me again. I guess he's one of your teachers that took the workshop this summer, and I'm all excited for him. That's so great.
It is exciting, and did somebody take over the support groups in Oregon?
No,
Ashland and Medford?
No, I'm going there. Now, Dr. Rob at Christ Unity Church, he is always going to be there doing it. He loves it, by the way. And I had to miss the one time when I had to go to court, and that was that experience. And but my plan is to go to Ashland and Medford every first and third week, because that's how I want to build my life. And even if it doesn't make sense monetarily, it's okay. It's my investment, my choice, and it's what I'm guided to do.
Cool.
Yeah, and then I'll be doing it here when I'm here, and if I get something going here that wants to continue, then that will be what I serve. Also, I'm serving what is the highest good, It's awesome.
That's
it is.
Is there anything we can support you with the work
I don't
at this
know.
point? Any questions in that regard?
I kind of have a hard time getting people kind of to do the actual worksheets, and I think that's a function of me doing them more, because when I share from my own growth, they get to see the possibility in their life too. So I've been doing them as I've been doing everything that I've been doing, but in fact, I want to be sitting down with it today, hopefully, and do a few. And I don't know. I'm guessing that's what it is. I'll just draw from that.
Well, and so many people live in that state of resistance, I don't want to look in here. I can pretend it's not there if I don't look. It's kind of like the little kid that covers their eyes and they think that the wolf can't see them. What you hide in you say, well, I don't want to look in there. I don't know what I'm going to find. But, there's this old story about Pandora's box. It's, oh, man, don't ever open Pandora's box. You'll end up in big trouble if you do that. But what they didn't tell you is, if you never open Pandora's box, your whole life turns into Pandora's box. You've got to open it. You've got to be willing to look there and to move through it. So I acknowledge you for inspiring people to do that. And yes, resistance is a pretty normal state for people at this point. Even, it's interesting, even when somebody sees or has a major shift, major breakthrough, like I've seen people with physical diseases, really serious, severe so-called physical diseases, and they make a breakthrough, and all of a sudden, their symptomatology is gone. They're done with it. And then they stop. Oh, well, okay, I'm finished now. Like, back to the resistance. So it's an interesting process.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you for your call.
They just wanted the result, and then once they get the result, they don't want to stay in the work, the consciousness.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's such a way to live. I mean, that's what you teach. That's what Jesus taught, that it's a way to live, to keep ourselves clean so that we cleansing from the whatever taints us in the world, just keep cleansing that and live in the design that we were meant to,
Yep. That's the plan.
Hey.
Well, we hold the space for you, and congratulations on having your house in escrow, and that you're going to be traveling as you choose to and wish to, and that's fabulous.
Hey, I have a little expression to offer, and I'm not sure where it really needs to go, but it came to me that another way of thinking of Armageddon, which everybody puts so much energy into, another way to think of it is God actually exclaiming, "Oh, my garden." Oh.
Cute.
Oh, my garden.
Yeah.
Oh.
What have you been doing to my garden?
Maybe I need to give it some attention, like remembering it. You know? Anyway, I love you both. I'll let you go so you can be with others.
Okay, take care, Julie.
Take care.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for the work you're doing.
We have a caller,
Jeanie?
area code 954. You're on the air. Who do we have?
South
Hello,
Florida.
how's my heart family? This is Nene.
Hi, Nene.
We are well, Nene. How are you?
I'm doing fine, and some people are starting to call the studio where we're gonna having the workshop. So there are people calling to find out more, and some people calling to say that they are coming. So I'm very happy for that.
Awesome.
Yes.
Congratulations. Now that happens what day?
Yes, started happening yesterday and this morning.
But the workshop, you're actually doing the workshop?
Yeah,
Is it the 23rd?
Sunday the 23rd, October 23rd. Yes,
Well,
1:30.
Great. Fabulous. Well, we hold the faith that dozens and dozens and hundreds phone and show up for your first, or I guess it's your second solo Why Is This Happening to Me Again workshop. That's just awesome, Nene.
Yes.
Are you doing this one in English or in Spanish?
Well, I'm going to be doing it in English because it's a bilingual population, but they wanted it in English. They have more people in English. So, okay, that's
cool.
Their demand. I'll do that. And I also wanted to share that about the creative process. Since I started in January up to now, I've been doing my 5 worksheets a day ever since. And I started looking back, reading back, and I've seen the transformation in my relationship. Of course, the first one with myself. That's the first thing. And also noticed that before this work, when things did not go my way, I would become, very nasty, very in my carbon-based memory. But now I can hold myself in the space of love, and when things don't come my way, I just do my work. And I also allow to understand that the other person is caught in his or her process of the non-being mind. So in this couple of days that my healing crisis has been, like yesterday was very strong. I had the headaches and I had, all those symptoms, the symptoms of healing. And then today, when I woke up, and I realized that, deep in my heart of being sacred, when things don't go my way, it's the moment to go really, like in the silence, go within, do the work, and then be that, becoming that space for the other person or the situation to just be. But, before this work, I would go so, into my nasty and revengeful and all this punishment and all that. So I am very happy that the creative process, it's been slow, but I can see the changes.
I bet you feel different physically, having given up that vengeance and that the word you use, nasty response when things aren't going your way. I bet physically your body has got to be feeling so much different.
Yes, so much different. Yes. And part of this also, that my daughter went through this crisis. I spoke to her, and I told her, about the skin, and she agreed. She says, "Mommy, I agree with you. It's part of this change." And, I just said, keep doing your work. So it's like she and I, the connection of doing the work together, she's also starting to release a lot of things. And, I do feel a lot better now. Oof, yes. my energy.
Fabulous.
And, very. Mm-hmm.
Fabulous. When you complete the Y workshop on the 23rd, are you going to do a support group at that location?
Well, hopefully that's my idea.
Cool.
That's my
Fabulous.
idea, and I'm also, I spoke to another people in another area in Sunrise, West, people that I know. It's a Hispanic Latin community. I spoke to there's a leader there, Palomita. She knows me. I danced for them during the Hispanic October in the last 4 years.
Uh-huh.
And this time I offered her, I sent her so much in Spanish, and I said, let's create this for this community. It's a retirement community, but very nice people. And so I am in conversation to do that.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Well, congratulations, and we are here to absolutely support you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Is there a question or any clarification on any of the principles that we can give you?
Well, as a matter of fact, I was re-listening to the Monday show, and there's a part of that you're explaining about the difference between what people understand as love, as a pleasing moment, an object of pleasing, and then the true energy of love as an energy. If you could just re-clarify that.
You say you'd like to re-clarify that?
Yes, because I was listening, but there are like 2 or 3 words that I, because of the phone, there are 2 or 3 words that I cannot understand when you explain it so well, and if you could just
sure. Cool.
Explain the difference, yes.
Well, the idea of who we are as human beings and the fact that we don't love isn't something we do, it's the stuff we're made of. Of course, to define the being, all you have to do is hold a newborn child and you'll have a direct experience of what love is, of what a human life is. So there's the starting point. We've had it turned around in our culture to where we say, I love you, and it's something that we do to each other. And so the person who's looking for someone else to give them an experience of who they are is stuck in looking for love in all the wrong places, because it's not anything anybody can do for you or to you. It's the stuff you're made of. And when you're stuck in the realities out of this carbon-based memory system, out of this body-mind unit, when you're hypnotized by those realities, then that state of hypnosis leaves one believing that if I could just find somebody to love me, and what the world calls love is really approval. It isn't love at all.
Yes.
First parent says, I love the child, and then the child does something the parent disapproves of. The child violates one of the parent's goals, and the parent goes into a rage. Well, where's the love in that? What do you mean you love your child? What you want to do, if you have a child, is live your life in such a way that you stand in the space of your human beingness, love, whatever your child does, whatever anybody does, that you maintain your actual human life. And so the first order of business is that of maintaining a human life. And one of the keys to doing that, and in Aramaic it was called the first law, is the active presence or the activity of a filter that was called Rakhma. And that filter, the word that was used when they said, what's the first law? And, in the Greek translations, it comes through into English as, you're supposed to love the creator, neighbor, and self. And in Aramaic, it's got nothing to do with it. And when we believe the world's definition, I love you, then looking for love in all the wrong places, we're outer directed, looking for something that can only come from within. What Rakhma does in the ancient Aramaic is it directs you inward to a condition in yourself. And when you have that condition, Rakhma, active, you have inoculated your mind against all of the non-human insanity, all of the hostilities and fears of the world. So you're in front of a child who does something you disapprove of, and you disapprove. Gee, I don't like that you did that. But instead of beating up on the child emotionally, physically, or verbally, you maintain your human life. You maintain that internal presence of your human beingness, and in that internal presence of your human beingness, you have genius. And that genius has a faculty called intuition. And you can tap right into what's going on for the child, that they did something that, perhaps you disapprove of, and you'll know exactly what to say, exactly what to do in order to discipline the child. And it's interesting, we live in a culture that says discipline means properly beat up. And discipline does not mean properly beat up. The word discipline comes from the word disciple. It means properly taught. So there's a chain of events. Somebody who understands the inner direction of the first law goes inside themselves and maintains a condition. That condition is a gateway that brings the active presence of love into physiology. Now, the active presence of love, with all of its attendant faculties, the number one, or one of the most important ones being intuition, you will know exactly what to do in order to support the child, exactly what to do in order to bring correction if correction is needed, or to mind your own business if it's not your business, it's the child's business. And so you'll be perfectly suited as a being called love to discipline the child, to disciple, to properly teach. And so the difference between the Aramaic and the Greek is in the Aramaic it's an inner direction, and in the Greek it's an outer direction. And so we have people who talk about love, but what they're really talking about is mostly approval. Does that kind of get to where you want it to go, Nene, or is there a more refined question?
Yes, no, that's what it is, perfectly. Thank you so much. It's just so wonderful to reconnect and re-listening. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Delighted. Glad to be on the team.
And, Michael, we have one more caller. We're down to about 3.5 minutes. But
let's see if we can say hi to our caller. Nene, thank you for your call. Blessings on your workshop coming up.
Area code 517, you're on the air. Who do we have?
It's Rex. Hi, Michael. Jeanie, how's everybody?
Hi, Rex. Good.
Hey,
well, hey there, Rex. How are you?
I'm doing extremely well.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I just had a couple ideas that were conveyed earlier. One was the one about the lady who was doing the teaching, the workshop, and has found that she has difficulty with having people doing the worksheets and following up, or that it was a challenge. And in one part of it, she was saying that she thought maybe she wasn't doing enough of her own work. I'm not sure that they're directly correlated, but I do think that if she has a thought that she should do more, then she probably should. And then the other one was a part about resistance. There's two parts to the first part. The lady that was talking about resistance, I've got other things happening here. I have a dish man standing here in my living room that I wanted to catch the end of the program real quick. The idea that I had a client call and say, hey, I'd like an appointment. I hadn't had a session with her. We set up a session for today, and I had asked her in working through your issues. She attended the last workshop, and I asked her, I said, well, how many worksheets did you do on this? She said, well, I didn't do any. I said, okay, good. And it was perfectly timed to the question that was asked earlier. And it's so important that we realize that, yes, we do have our own resistance, and yes, we do have things we're working through, but essentially the true resistance is in the individual that's resisting. And if we can stay clear in that, we can actually, support those that are tapping into the resistance. And the other one isn't that important. It was about the piece on love. It really is a state of being. And, the piece on the children, we can only treat our children, or we have a tendency to treat our children the way we treat ourselves. And so that was the other thing I wanted to say. And it's just about doing our inner work, and God bless everybody. Thanks for the time, and thanks for everything you're doing, Michael.
Right, and I'm just pulling into the airport with that young man of yours. I'll be putting him on an airplane, and he'll be flying out of here in just a few minutes.
Well, fantastic. It'll be great to see him. All right, Michael, God bless you. I got to go. Thank you.
All right. Blessings.
Bye now.
Love you. All righty. Bye-bye. Jeanie, any other thoughts in the chat room? Or?
No, that's it. We're down to about 50 seconds.
50. Oh, my goodness. Time flies. We're having fun. Well, folks, remember next week we'll be starting an hour earlier each day, so the show will start at 1 o'clock Eastern Time instead of 2, and, of course, drop back on all other time zones. We will be here tomorrow. We invite you to bring a stranger with you. We're delighted that you shared this space with us. We're honored, and have the best year yet of your eternal life. Blessings. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to MindShifters Radio with the Forgiveness Doctor, Dr. Michael Ryce, and his wife, Jeanie, who present the internal Aramaic process of forgiveness. Michael and Jeanie are here every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Earth Angels Radio. For more on Michael and Jeanie, please visit www.whyagain.com. That's www.whyagain.com.